What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA. I'm DS, and as always, I'm here with my guy Dino Bam Bam.
What's good, Dino?
What's up, brother?
No, we're just out
Looking
here.
handsome with the Sachis.
Thank you, brother. I like your shades as well. What are those, Ray-Bans?
Yes.
Nice. I
Thank
got a couple pairs of those upstairs, I believe.
You can't go wrong with them. They're a classic, and hopefully we have a couple classics on this coming up card, a special Sunday early episode. We're hoping to keep this going. But before we go any further, Dino Bam Bam, please, you have some words for them?
Yeah, guys, please like and subscribe. Ring that little bell down there. It'll notify you whenever our videos drop. You can also follow us on Instagram at the10-7MMA. We would really appreciate it if you could do that. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely. And we have a shorter fight card this week. It's only 11 fights, so we're kind of getting gypped for a pay-per-view card. And also, you know, to me, whenever I see Nunes headlining something, you know, I cringe a little bit, but I get it. It's a title fight. You know, what else is there to say, right?
Agreed.
So, jumping right into it, though, the first fight of the night, it's Diana Belbita versus Maria Oliveira. Dino Bam Bam, please give us the lowdown.
Absolutely. Diana Belbita. Is it Belbita or Belbita?
Belbita!
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Diana Belbita, 14-7, 1-3 in the promotion. Her only win in her UFC career against my girl, Hannah Goldie. She got an OnlyFans. Shout out Hannah Goldie and her OnlyFans.
Yes. Are you a follower?
I was at some point, but then she started losing, and it's like...
you only follow winners.
What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying?
OnlyFans. I feel that.
She's a high-pressure fighter, Diana, constantly moving forward and throwing. She's very high volume. She gets hit a ton, but she also hits a ton. That's just kind of her, you know, that's what she is.
Yep.
Then you have Maria Oliveira. She's the shorter fighter here, which isn't very typical. She's usually, she's a pretty tall fighter. She fights longer than Diana Belbita does, if that makes any sense. That's just kind of how
she fights more into her size.
Yeah, she utilizes the kicks a lot, and she has pretty good power, decent takedowns, mediocre takedown defense. Nothing really to write home about in the ground game. We saw Vanessa Demopoulos kind of dominate her on the ground, so that is a little bit concerning. I'm going to go with Diana Belbita here. I think she's going to be able to stay out of the way of the power shots of Maria Oliveira and kind of pick at her from range and then get into a clinch, eventually get a takedown and kind of work that. I think she bags the first 2 rounds, and then Maria Oliveira kind of, maybe recovers a little bit in the third, but too little too late, 29-28, Diana Belbita. I think she's the underdog. Is that correct?
I don't know, bro. I really didn't look at the odds on any of these fights, I want to say. But let's check it out while we're here. Near even. Minus 105 for Belbita, minus 115 for Oliveira.
So coin flip.
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know why this one's on a pay-per-view card. And, you want the first fight to kind of get you into it, get you going. One thing I will say, both these girls do throw, so really no complaints there. It's just, I don't think they're really a good showcase of the top of this weight class. So for me, this is a fight that's going to take place on the feet. I just think that Oliveira is going to be a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah.
And in a positive way, I guess positive for her, negative for Diana Belbita. She does that wild ass shit where she throws 6 1-2s in a row, you know what I mean? Right. And just charges at you.
The little way leash kind of.
Yeah, absolutely, but way worse than that.
Obviously.
I don't see this fight taking place on the ground at all. And if it did, I mean, I guess it would be kind of a toss-up regardless. Oliveira's defense is not great, so it's tough, man. I guess I'm going to go with Oliveira just for the aggression more than anything else. I would say same thing, 2-1, 29-28. Oliveira's way this time.
That's kind of how I was seeing it at first, but then I just kind of flip-flopped on it. Also, maybe she's on the card because her last name's Oliveira.
Could be, and I feel you. Yeah, I don't feel particularly strongly about it. There's a reason the odds are so close, too. So, in any case, moving on to the second fight of the night. It's David Dvorak versus Steve Erceg, who is making his UFC debut. I had a tough time with this one, man. I mean, I watched David Dvorak in his fighting style. He kind of reminds me of a slightly smaller Corey Sandhagen in a way. He's really well-rounded. He's got good speed. He doesn't have truly elite speed for flyweight, I would say. I do like that he throws a ton of jabs. He's a guy that belongs in this weight class, obviously, at the, within striking distance, right? I mean, he was recently ranked as high as 9th. Yep. I don't think he's quite as fast and explosive as some of the other guys in the weight class. Erceg, man, this guy has all of his finishes by submission pretty much, right?
He's a straight-up grappler.
He's a straight-up grappler. I really haven't seen a ton of him on the feet. Yeah. I mean, he looks okay. I do think that Dvorak should have the advantage on the feet here. It's a tough one, man. I mean, Erceg looks super savvy with his submissions. That super slick guillotine, the mounted guillotine that he got on a guy named Paul Loga, that was unreal. Super slick. So could he tap him out? Absolutely. I just think that it's a big jump up in competition. I'm going to go David Dvorak wins a 29-28 decision. Again, don't feel particularly strong about it. So
I feel that I agree with most of what you said. The only thing with Erceg that was kind of tripping me out when it did come to the striking, it seems like he really likes to strike, but he's just like not all that at it.
Yeah,
like,
and he's very flat-footed.
Right, but on the ground, I have the word slick written down. That's what you said. Slick
That's crazy. I literally have it written down too.
Yeah, it's the perfect word for him. Yeah, I got to trust David Dvorak. We've seen him against higher competition. He just fought Manel Kopp and Mateus Nicolau.
And exactly. And I think he's in the world. Exactly. And I think he's savvy enough on the ground.
Yeah, to survive
that. Yeah, I don't think he'll just like get. It could happen. I mean, right? You never know, but I don't see it.
Agreed. Yeah, so I am going 29-28 as well for David Dvorak. I have a lot of decisions in these prelims, by the way. I see a lot.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that, but yeah, same honestly. Now that you mention it.
Yep.
So, in any case, moving on. Third fight of the night. This is a certified my boy, a new my boy, Blake Bilder.
Blake the Builder.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I had a little interaction with him on Instagram, which I forgot what it was. I think I just said like Blake Bilder's gonna drop him or something, and he liked the comment. So, in any case, he's fighting Kyle Nelson, who looks very different than his Tapology picture. He is definitely bald now. He's one of our brothers.
Let's get it.
Dino Bam Bam, let me know what you think about this one.
Yeah, so obviously you just mentioned the Blake Bilder thing. And before...
I thought you were going to say, obviously you just mentioned the bald thing. Like, that was about to be a sick-ass point of this.
Right,
like,
the bald guys.
Yeah.
But you broke down the Blake Bilder thing, and it's cool that we're getting to the point in this show that we're starting to repeat fighters.
Yeah.
And it's fighters from, like, the beginning, which is really cool. So it's like, you know... Both of these guys, I believe, we've broken down already.
100%.
Which is dope, and we have a ton of those on this card. And for some reason, that just got me thinking about people that we've talked about on this show.
Yeah.
And I remembered Anshul Jubli.
Yeah.
So I looked up to see if he has a fight.
Yeah,
he doesn't yet. No,
he does not? Wow.
And then I remember...
They're wasting my boy.
Legit.
They're wasting your boy, sorry.
And then I remembered Shannon Ross, the Turkish Delight.
Yep.
He has a fight coming up.
Erceg has a win over Shannon Ross.
Yeah.
Fun fact, yeah.
That's a trip. But Shannon Ross is the Turkish Delight fighting at UFC 290, so we'll get to see him.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so...
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Let's get it. But anyways, Blake the Builder, ya boy. 8-0 undefeated fighter. He's a grappler, but the hands aren't bad. His striking is a tad bit underrated, I believe. He's pretty damn...
Former Gold Glove boxer.
Yeah, but I just feel like he doesn't use it too much, and like that's not what he's known for. You know? He's pretty damn explosive. He gets hit often, but he hits often. That's kind of his thing. There's for sure some openings, I think, that a high-level striker would be able to kind of take advantage of, but we haven't seen that yet. Is Kyle Nelson that level of striker? That's yet to be seen, but I guess we'll find out. He beat Shane Young last time out. He looked pretty damn crisp in that one. Then you have Kyle Nelson, 13-5-1. He's 1-4-1 in the UFC. So that's not a great record. He needs a win here pretty badly. He is a striker. I do like the power in his hands. His takedown defense is pretty good. His scrambles are pretty good. We saw some solid grappling last time out versus Doo Ho Choi. That was on the Derek Lewis Sergey Spivak card, which was our first aired episode.
Yep.
So everything's just kind of coming full circle here.
And wasn't the one that was not the same card that Anshul Jubli was on, or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he lost that fight, or I'm sorry, that was the draw. But he really was losing. They took a point from Doo Ho Choi in that one.
That's right. When I was looking back at that, I was wondering why it was a draw.
Yeah, they took a point.
Yeah. Now it makes sense. Okay.
Anyways, I'm going Blake the Builder here. Both guys are 32 years old. It seems like he's kind of on the up, whereas Kyle Nelson seems like he's kind of on the way down. Can Kyle Nelson catch him? Absolutely he can. Can he prove that maybe he is a better striker? He probably can. Like, you know, there's a chance that Kyle Nelson wins this fight, but I just feel like if Bilder fights smart, he's going to win this fight. We've seen Kyle Nelson put out before by Billy Q and Diego Ferreira, so maybe we see that here. But I am going to take the safe bet. I'm going Blake Bilder by decision. Again, 29-28.
Yep. Yeah. I like it. You know, I like Blake Bilder. Like, his last fight, when I was watching it back, I wish he was a little bit more aggressive. You know, just watching him early on in that fight, he just seemed kind of hesitant.
Right.
So I do hope that he fights a little bit more aggressive. When he got really aggressive in the end of the fight with Shane Young, he was piecing him up. So he's got great boxing. I want to see him use that a little bit more. Kyle Nelson, I do obviously Blake Bilder. I'm very sure that he has the better grappling overall. I believe he has the better boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he's the better striker overall. Kyle Nelson is probably the more well-rounded striker.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, man. I like Blake Bilder. You know, maybe I'm biased at this point. I just think his boxing will be enough to keep it very competitive on the feet. And then if it gets to the ground, I do think he has a distinct advantage. I agree with you. I'm going to go 29-28. I could see him losing the first round and then kind of winning the next two after that and picking it up as the fight goes on.
One thing to point out, Kyle Nelson, the first Canadian we're going to be seeing on this card, which is in Canada.
Right, yep.
So, you know, look out for that. The crowd's definitely going to be on his side.
That's true. Maybe another factor to that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, in any case, moving on. Fourth fight of the night, we've got Aiemann Zahabi versus, dude, I want to say Aoriqileng, but what do they call him?
I heard Aoriqileng.
Aoriqileng, yeah, but it's just like, where the hell is the CH or the C or...
Who knows, dude?
I don't know. It's
we
not
got Brazil with the weird sound, you know, the weird lettering, and then the Chinese
I've
now.
never seen the Chinese with hit me with a Q that's a CH.
Qi, right? Like the Qi dynasty.
Oh, that's spelled QI?
I think.
You're tripping me out right now. That's
think
something
so.
I was not aware of. Lord knows you're not getting your geography and history lessons here. So we'll get back to it. But please give me your thoughts on this one.
Sure. You kind of threw me off there, but I got you.
My fault.
Aiemann Zahabi, 9-2, 3-2 in the UFC. He's a well-rounded fighter. He's mostly a striker. He's crisp. He's powerful. His takedown defense is solid. We've seen him struggle with that, though. Like, that's kind of been where he has struggled when he has struggled.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you got to nitpick, that's something there. Obviously, he's the brother of Fares Zahabi, who's GSP's. Jesus Christ. The hottest 625 alarm. You guys don't know about that?
Yeah.
But
no, you have to tell them now.
That's the first 625 alarm that's ever been on the show. That's crazy.
That's historic right there, more than anything.
It's a long story.
This is literally... Yeah, please.
No, it's just like it's how long do you think it's been going on?
Dude, I was there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or like...
Yeah, I mean, you were around.
I mean, I was definitely around.
Right.
But yeah, it just... you just had it set randomly, and then it just became a thing. And
this
then
is part of my life.
Now it's been like 12 years or so.
More.
It's been more, for sure.
Like 15.
Yeah, that's insane.
I have an alarm that goes
That's
off
insane.
at 6:25 p.m. every day for maybe the last 15, 16 years. If you really know me, you know that that's my thing.
Everybody, 100%. Everybody watching this that knows you absolutely is familiar with it. I also just think at this point you've like Pavlov conditioned yourself.
Yeah.
Like with that alarm. So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just there. I get a new phone and it's like the first thing I do. Like, you know, people go and pick like their ringtones.
Yep.
I just put the 6:25 alarm.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's got a hold on you.
Yeah. And then we have Aoriqileng, well-rounded, non-stop pressure guy. He throws constant. He gets hella brawly at times, which you know I don't love, but it can be very fun to watch. He's one of those guys that uses his striking to get into the wrestling. He likes to get you up against the cage. He ultimately wants the takedown. He's been kind of relying on his striking lately.
A lot.
And I don't know if that's the best thing for him, to be honest with you.
Yep.
This one was kind of tough for me to choose. They kind of both have the answer to each other's flaws. So that's what makes it tough. I'm just going to side with Aiemann Zahabi here. I think both guys, they're both on a 2-fight win streak. But I believe that Zahabi has looked more impressive in that 2-fight win streak.
Okay.
So I'm going to side with him.
Fair.
And another decision, by the way, 29-28.
All right. We do disagree on this one as well because though I love GSP so much, you know he's my guy. Probably my favorite fighter of all time. He hasn't been very active. He's the older fighter. You know, like you said, 2-fight win streak. He hasn't looked like terrible. The fight against Tercios was like boring as hell, dude.
Yeah, but he beat Ricky Tercios' ass.
He did beat his ass, but I don't know. I guess it just the way that Tercios looked that day, he should have beat his ass even more. I guess I don't know. He's also 35 years old, like I said. He hasn't done anything recently where it's really impressed me. I don't know. Aoriqileng, 6 years younger. He does have a loss to certified your boy Jeff Molina. He's had a shit ton of fights in his career.
That's a y'all's boy.
That's right, y'all's boy. Yeah, I forgot about that. Jeez. Yeah, certified y'all's boy Jeff Molina. But this dude has a shit ton of fights, man. For somebody who you like, when you hear it, 36 years old, he's the brother of a big time coach, right? You would think that he has way more experience. This is not the case here.
Yeah, but he's been around that, right?
He's been around
his whole fighting career. He's been around high fucking level people.
Absolutely. So I just want to see him more active. Why isn't he more active? Why are you taking like a year and a half off when you're 35 years old at that point? You know, it's not, more than anything, it's not something that gives me a ton of confidence in you. I do think that Aoriqileng, if he uses his body shots, which he's shown he has really nice body shots, great power, nice hooks and uppercuts, I think he's also really an accurate striker, which is, I think, an attribute that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
In general, I feel like MMA breakdowns don't really talk about accuracy as like a
Sure.
distinct thing, but I believe it is. I actually think he's gonna knock him out, man. I got Aoriqileng by second round knockout in this one.
I could see that. I'm not too confident in the Zahabi pick, but yeah.
I mean, maybe I sound more confident than I am,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do. I absolutely. I think the most likely thing is he gets knocked out.
And then the next fight is two absolute yo girls, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
So you think Jasmine Jasudavicius and Miranda Maverick are two absolute my girls? I would say that Miranda Maverick could potentially. She's on the cusp.
Yeah.
She's cusping to be a my girl. Yes, and I'm sure she's just.
See, to me, she's just one of the Gaethje sisters. It's one of those things.
Yeah. Have we broken that down before?
I don't think we have. But
Okay.
The names aren't, they're not coming to me.
Okay.
But there's a few chicks that I believe are just like long lost relatives of Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
She's one of them.
I mean, I could absolutely see it.
Yeah.
I think she's really good, man. I think she got robbed. She definitely got fucking robbed versus Macy Barber, and then really her only loss.
It's another Gaethje sister.
Oh my god, man! I don't know. That might. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Well, she beat her, but she was very distinctly robbed in that one. I think they were just trying to push Macy Barber at that point, and it fit the narrative, so they got her to fucking win.
Yeah.
She's very, very well rounded. She's got pretty good striking. I mean, as far as this weight class goes, she's no slouch on the ground. To me, she's much better than Jasmine on the feet, and I think that that's really going to be the difference in this one. I think if it gets to the ground, Jasmine she's got the advantage. I just think that her advantage in the wrestling is not nearly as much as the wrestling on the feet that Miranda Maverick's going to have. So I'm going Miranda Maverick. I can see it going 29-28. I could also see her just sweeping it 30-27.
Cool. I'm going to actually disagree with you on this one.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I think Miranda Maverick is best when she's able to kind of manhandle her opponents.
Sure.
And I think with the wrestling pedigree of Jasmine Jasudavicius, whatever you want to call her, I think her wrestling pedigree, it's really high. It's amongst the highest there is in women's MMA.
Silver medalist, right?
Right. So she is a really good wrestler. I don't think that Miranda Maverick's going to be able to kind of just do that to her and bully her. We've seen Miranda Maverick, as I said, that's when she's at her best. But her wins in the UFC, Dino, they're not that impressive. Shayna Young isn't that good.
No, she's not.
Sabina Mazo is no longer in the UFC.
And definitely not that good.
And then there's the Jillian Robertson one, which I guess is decent.
Yeah.
And her losses have aged well.
Yeah.
Erin Blanchfield, and as you mentioned, who was the other one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, who? Maverick's losses?
Yeah.
Well, it's Blanchfield and Barber.
Right, so those have aged pretty well, right? Like, Blanchfield's obviously at the top. Macy Barber's doing great.
Yep.
I just don't know, man. She like I said, she usually dogs the people she wins against. She's able to manhandle them, kind of roughhouse them. I'm going to go Jasmine Jasudavicius here, 29-28. I'm somewhat confident in it. I don't like the odds at all, to be honest with you.
What are the odds?
She's a minus 300, Miranda Maverick.
Wow.
And I think
don't
that's
like the odds
really
at all
heavy,
either. It should be, if I'm making the odds, it'd be like minus 140 kind of thing.
So for that reason, and maybe that reason alone, I'm definitely going with the dog here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not like her wins are terribly impressive. Kay Hansen.
Yeah.
I had her losing her last one, so props to her for proving me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby Fernandez.
And she's fighting at home. If this goes to a decision.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Has a loss to Elise Reed at CFFC. With that wrestling pedigree, I just wish she was better, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, moving on to the next fight on this card, and it is... I just lost my place. It's Nassourdine Imavov versus Chris Curtis. Mm-hmm. Is that a your boy?
No.
It's not? Okay. Yeah, give me your thoughts on this one.
I think this fight could be very fun, and I think this fight could be very boring.
I agree with you 100%.
Which I feel like to the casual, they would think like, or, maybe not the casual because they wouldn't know who they are, but like for just your pretty casual MMA fan that knows both guys, they would think like, hey, this is a banger. Yeah, it has the opportunity to be a banger or boring. Anyways, Nassourdine Imavov, he's a striker. He's dynamic as hell. Of course, last time out, he lost to Sean Strickland, which is great friends of Chris Curtis. They actually have a podcast.
It seems like they always do that.
They have a podcast.
They just started one, right?
Yeah,
I saw that.
They're kind of like me and you.
They're just like us. Exactly like us.
Anyways, he sticks and moves pretty well. His takedowns are good. Obviously, he is born in Dagestan, I believe. So
He
if,
is.
if you're Dagestani, you're gonna have good wrestling.
Yep. What does him being French add to his skill set?
I guess it's just like that kickboxing,
Yeah,
right?
it is,
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
that
what
style
it is.
shows more than the
And it's
wrestling
funny as
style.
hell because you literally could trace it. Like
Yeah.
if I told you
Yeah,
it's a guy from Dagestan, Russia.
right.
That's
But he grew up in France.
But he grew
or
up in
whatever.
France,
Yeah.
or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Well, like you would. This is exactly who you would
Right.
describe.
Right.
So
Anyways, he's long-bodied. He's a good fighter. Last time out, like I said, against Strickland, he didn't look good, though, man. He did not look good. And that was a heavy Sean Strickland coming
Yep.
off of a, it was very short notice.
was that
off
a
of
difference?
fight.
Was that a difference, though?
I don't know.
Because he was 10 pounds lighter than him.
Right. Who knows?
Sean Strickland literally didn't cut, and he may have cut some. I mean,
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming
Yeah.
from, but you're only as good as your last fight, I guess. And
For sure.
he didn't look that great in that one. Then we have Chris Curtis, boxer, good power, decently well-rounded. We've talked about him a ton. I feel like he has very good footwork. He's tough. He's durable. Good counter-striking, but we've seen when you don't give him the chance to counter-strike you, he looks like shit. Like the Jack Hermanson fight.
Yep.
He was all sorts of phased, didn't know what the hell was going on, didn't know how to enter. And then, we see the Buckley fight where he wasn't doing all that, and then he found Buckley.
Yep.
So, that's just Chris Curtis and who he is. I'm going to side with Nassourdine Imavov here.
Wow.
I think he's going to be a little too safe for Curtis. He's going to be able to utilize his length, pick at him from range.
That's crazy.
And
to
if
me.
Curtis can't find that knockout shot, he's not going to win.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going 29-28 Imavov.
I'm shocked.
Why?
I don't know. I really thought you would pick Chris Curtis. I don't know why.
Mm-mm.
I really thought so. It's a tough one for me, man. You broke it down perfectly. Sean Strickland, neither of these guys looked amazing in their last fight.
Yeah.
Imavov looked worse because obviously he lost.
Mm-hmm.
Was the weight a thing? Was it not? For me, it's the interesting thing is his cardio bad? Because he was slowing down in the Strickland fight. Strickland is also just awkward as hell, man.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
And that's a 5-rounder.
It's a 5-rounder. It was his first 5-rounder. And literally Strickland just walks towards you, dude. And awkward ass strikes from different angles with good power. Work the body. So that's the question, is right? It's Sean Strickland basically has the formula to beat this guy, right?
Right.
So, and obviously, like you said, he's
Main training partners.
main training partner with Chris Curtis. So can he use that kind of Strickland type of pressure? But it's such a unique style where he may not be able to execute that either.
Yeah.
Or is Imavov going to be able to use his movement, because he's got really good movement typically? Is he going to be able to use his movement and stay out of range, throw some good kicks? Who do you think has the wrestling advantage here?
Imavov.
Imavov? I think so too. I know Chris Curtis is decent, but Chris Curtis more than anything is a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these guys have legit power. If somebody's going to get knocked out, I do think it will be Imavov. Can Curtis do it? It's really tough, man. This is the toughest fight on the card for me. I've gone back and forth.
Yeah. There's definitely a route to victory for both guys here.
Yeah. Oh, man. My other thing with Chris Curtis is that I pick against him a lot for whatever
And he
reason,
wins.
and he wins.
And then when you pick him,
Then when I pick him, he loses.
Yeah, I get that.
I finally literally bet on him for the first time versus Jack Hermanson.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I guess I'm going to side with you because you've got me convinced now. I'm going to go with Imavov. It's got to be by decision, in my opinion. I don't see Chris Curtis getting knocked out. So,
Yeah.
that's a tough one. In any case, moving on to the 7th fight of the night, it's your boy Eryk Anders, and not necessarily your boy,
my boy.
but your boy Eryk Anders versus Marc-Andre Barriault.
The power bar.
The power bar, and of course he's the power bar because he's got really, really good cardio, and he believes that as the fight goes on, he gets better and better. And honestly, man, we kind of have seen that, especially in his last fight versus Julian Marquez. And I had him losing that one, I believe.
Yeah.
I remember.
I don't recall, but
I think we broke that down on
we did
on this podcast. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm 99% sure I had Marquez. I wasn't feeling amazing about it. I just thought he could find that knockout blow. It almost looked like after the first round that's what was going to happen. Was it part of the plan for Marc-Andre Barriault to do that? Because it kind of looked like it, where he basically rope-a-doped for the first round, and then unleashed in the second round. Julian Marquez absolutely burnt out. Marc-Andre Barriault did his thing, absolutely unloaded on him, did just massive damage, elbows, knees, punches, uppercuts. I mean,
all that, 200
literally
strikes.
threw everything at him. They could have probably called it a little bit earlier, even at that point.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, we have Eryk Anders, obviously a big, strong middleweight. I believe we've talked about him as well on the show too. And I mean, he's been around for a hot ass minute, man. I think he's a guy that his recent record doesn't show or tell the story, let's say, of how good he actually is. He's been robbed a couple of times, in my opinion, he's had a lot of tough grinding fights. What his last fight versus Park, man, that wasn't his last one. I'm sorry. Dawkins was his last one. He looked amazing in that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely laid out Kyle Dawkins. Kyle Dawkins wanted no parts of it. He looked like he was ready to kind of give up, honestly, at the end of the first round even. He dropped him a bunch of times. He looked in, like, this is maybe cliche, right? The best shape of his life. He literally did look like he was in the best shape of his life, even at, 36 years old now, I believe?
Eryk Anders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked really good, man. He looked really good. He looked faster to me, too. Mm-hmm. And he looked like he was fighting a more cerebral and a smarter fight than he typically does, too. Sometimes he kind of just unloads, and that wasn't the case. I thought he fought a really smart fight. So this is tough, man. You know, it is tough for me. Is the Marquez thing going to happen? Because we have seen Eryk Anders tire out, too.
Yeah.
You know, he's a pretty muscular guy. Obviously, that's the case with a lot of muscular guys. They tire out. It's tough. I'm very curious to see what you have to say about it. It's going to go one of two ways, right? Either Barriault's going to get knocked out, or he's going to wear this guy down and basically put on the punishment at the third round or at the end of the second round and win it that way. I'm kind of leaning that way, man. I think I'm leaning to the Barriault decision. Loses the first round, is maybe even, losing part of the second round, and then just kind of turns it up after the midway point, let's say.
Yeah. I see a finish in this fight. That's how I feel. Similar to you, I think it's probably round 2, maybe early round 3.
I could absolutely see. I mean, this is probably the most likely fight for a knockout. Let's be honest.
So far, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm also siding with Marc-Andre Barriault. I'm not super comfortable with it. As you mentioned, Eryk Anders, hella athletic. I believe he played for Alabama.
Yeah, he had. Didn't he have like a sick ass play in like the national championship game too? I think he had like multiple sacks or something. He went off.
That's sick. I'm going to take Marc-Andre Barriault strictly due to the fact that he's the more technical fighter, and it seems like his cardio might be better.
His cardio is for sure better.
Yeah.
I think there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Is that all you have on that one?
That's it.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the next fight of the night. It's Dan Ige versus...
50K.
Dan 50K. Ige versus Nate the Train Landwehr. And
unreal.
This is an unreal fight, man. This is going to be an unbelievable fight. No question about it. No matter how you see it, which way you think it's going to go.
Yep.
But let me know, which way do you think it's going to go?
All right. I think this has fight of the night written all over it.
No question.
Okay.
There's going to be blood.
Yeah.
They both bleed. There's going to be blood. It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I'm super excited about it. What I want to know is, what do they drink?
Oh my God.
Do you feel me on that?
I do feel you on that.
That's the question we've all been dying to know here.
Oh, is it?
That's it. That's why people come.
Man.
I'm going to come.
Hold on.
You know that thing?
Do not come.
All right.
Let me look at him. I got to look at Dan Ige's face real quick. Is he?
That's a terrible picture.
That is. What does he look like? Like a young Kurt Angle.
It looks like Ray.
He does look like Ray. Hold on. I got to look at his face real quick.
As he's Googling that. Guys, why don't you comment down below? Let us know what you think they drink.
Please.
You could do that down there.
Didn't I tell people to do some shit last week? I'll give them, I'll Venmo them or something.
Yeah, nobody did shit.
Nobody did shit, dude.
We dropped that video very late.
We did. This one, you have so much time.
And it only got like 40 views. This one,
let's say, how about this? If you tell me, if you see this and you break down to me what both Dan Ige and Nate the Trait Landwehr drink, I'll Venmo you $10.
What and why?
And yes, please. You have to explain yourself at least. That's the least you could do.
That's it.
I don't know, man. I want to say he's a guy that doesn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
If he does, I feel like maybe Merlot.
Merlot, interesting. He's a wine guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking like coconut rum.
Coconut rum?
Yeah.
True.
It's all about that
Nah, you know what? I'm going to go with like a vodka Sprite.
Vodka Sprite?
Yeah.
I don't like that. Personally, I don't like the drink. I'm not saying I don't like it for him.
Yeah,
It's just not my cup of tea.
It's not. I mean, I'm okay. Like, I'll have it sometimes.
Okay.
But, yeah. And then Nate the Train is for sure just beer, dude.
Yeah, he pounding that shit.
Pounding it.
You know?
What kind of beer do you think he drinks?
Like 40s, like Mickey's?
No way.
Or like OEs or some shit?
Or what is it? Steel...
Steel Reserve?
Steel Reserve,
He could be a Steel Reserve guy.
Wow.
You know?
What do they drink down in Clarksville, Tennessee?
Rolling Rock? I don't know.
Dude, he drinks whiskey, bro. He's in Tennessee.
Okay, let's just first of all,
He drinks Tennessee whiskey.
Nate Landwehr is not the guy to complain about what he's drinking.
You're right.
He's going to drink.
He's
what
drinking.
You give him.
That's for sure. Some
That's
guys
fine.
we say they don't drink. There's no way Nate Landwehr doesn't drink.
100%.
1,000,000%.
100%.
So, but
now that we've got that
please.
situated and whatnot, let's start with Dan 50K Ige. Happy to see him back in the win column. He was looking great before he ran into Zombie and Josh Emmett and Movsar. And then, there's no shame in losing to those guys. Those are the top of the heap in the division.
Absolutely, yeah.
He had a very nice KO last time out against Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson, it either seems like he's going to look amazing or he's going to get slumped.
Yep.
So, anyways.
He's one of those guys.
I was really happy for him. Dan Ige, great kickboxing, good power for the
division. He's good, man. He's a good fighter. I think he's another one of those guys where he's not as bad as the record has looked recently,
Yeah, I mean, he's good everywhere. The ground game's underrated. He's better than most people know he is. And especially for newer fans, this guy was a big deal. Like, he was he was high ranked.
Yep.
Right before he just hit like a wall.
Is he still ranked? Do you know?
Yeah, he's for sure still ranked.
Yeah.
He's got to be. Then we have Nate the Train Landwehr. He's insane, super durable. This guy does not stop. If you've been a UFC fan for the last few years, you have seen Nate the Train, and every single time he puts on an absolute show. The dude is a psycho certified. He does not quit. The David Onama fight is one of my favorite fights of the last few years.
That shit was insane, yeah.
Shit was absolutely nuts. He's willing to bang. He's willing to throw himself in the fire. And, hey, man, like I said, fight of the night is written all over this.
No question.
I am taking Dan Ige, split decision here.
Wow.
I think he's smarter. I think he's more technical. But Nate the Train is a dog, and he is a super duper live underdog. In this
no
one,
question.
And
he's a decent underdog, right? I'm pretty sure. I thought it was like the odds are not where they should be. I think
I would not be surprised though if he wins it.
Me neither. And I actually have the same exact thing.
Yeah,
I have literally Dan Ige split decision in a super hard fought fight.
Dan Ige's minus 230. Nate Landwehr plus 190.
Yeah, I would absolutely sprinkle that. And if you're gonna throw this into a parlay, make 2 parlays and split that for sure because. Yeah, I have the same exact thing, man. I just think that as fun as Nate the Train is, and of course he is, and he's a madman, and he's just relentless, I just think that Dan Ige is just a slight tier above in terms of quality.
Agreed.
Can Nate Landwehr make that up in sheer willpower and just insanity? Potentially. We've seen him potentially outkick his coverage already. You can never count him out, man. He'll throw literally like three head kicks in like 4 seconds for no reason. He just goes nuts. But I just think Dan Ige is too savvy for that. He's fought the best of the best. His boxing is really good. Like you said, his ground game is underrated. He even had some impactful, takedowns in his last fight too. Yes, he gets his ass kicked a lot, but I think that's, like you said, against the best of the best. Right. So I agree with you fully. Dan Ige split decision on this one.
Have I mentioned the thing with Sean O'Malley? Where they asked Sean O'Malley, who are the 5 most entertaining fighters to watch in the UFC?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Well, he was me. Like he said himself.
Right. I do
remember
that.
He was Connor, Izzy, I forgot who else it was, Jamayev or somebody.
Yep.
And then he was and that crazy guy that yells
That's
shit.
right.
And then they showed Nate the Train. So.
Yep. And rightfully so, man.
He is fun.
Rightfully so. If you're talking about pure fun, if you're getting somebody into UFC, show them show them this fight.
The Onama fight.
The Onama fight's insane.
Yeah.
Show them that for sure. But if you're gonna watch an event with a friend who's not a fan or your girl or whoever, show them this fight.
MMA casuals fans that will be dropping tomorrow.
Please.
We need it. This is the fight.
We need it.
If you want to convert some people over to MMA.
I can't wait to hear your breakdown on this.
Yeah.
For that. So, in any case, moving on to the third to last fight of the night, it's Mike Malott versus Adam Fugitt.
Do you know how is this fight ahead of Dan Ige and Nate Landwehr?
I don't know, man.
And then it's the feature fight of the pay-per-view.
Is it really?
Dan Ige and Nate the Train, and before Beneil and Charles.
Yeah.
And it's dude, what are you guys doing?
It doesn't make any sense.
No knock on that.
And even Nassourdine and Chris Curtis
is a better fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird. It's the Canada thing, is what it is. This is the last Canadian fighter of the night, so this is the Canadian main event.
Yeah.
So, Mike Malott, pretty hyped guy at this point. I didn't have him winning his last fight, and I regret that. Actually, both these guys. I knew that they were going to have close fights, but at the end, I had both of these guys losing.
Interesting.
Mike Malott fought Johan Lainesse, who's a beast in his own right. He did a good job controlling the range. He threw some really powerful kicks. He's always in really good shape. He just looks fantastic shape.
Yeah.
His hands looked really fast in that one too. He ended up, of course, winning by submission, but he looked really good all around, man. He's really competitive. Every fight that he's had so far, I feel like he gets better. Adam Fugitt, man, older guy, but super impressive. He's got such an awkward style, and I know we've talked about him on this before, where he like has his like neck down weird.
Yeah.
He's like a praying mantis or some shit. I don't know.
Kind of hands open.
Hands open,
Yeah.
like weirdly like squared up too, and like And I'm pretty. Is he a southpaw? I think he's a southpaw.
I believe so.
Yeah, but in any case, man, his last time out versus Kinoshita, he was, I think, the biggest underdog on the card. Looked really dangerous in the clinch. Eventually dropped Kinoshita with a beautiful straight left hand. Yeah, that's right. It was a left hand, so he's definitely a southpaw for sure. He's got good power. He's got decent striking, and man, the elbows on the ground were absolutely vicious. He is a really good wrestler, and he definitely showed that in that fight. Kinoshita, once it got to the ground, had absolutely nothing for him. This is another tough one, man. I think the odds are like pretty heavily in Mike Malott's favor, right? Let me check. Minus 210 and plus 170. Dude, I don't know. This is a tough card, man. There are a lot of decent live underdogs. I do think that Adam Fugitt fits that bill. I am gonna go with Mike Malott. I'm not betting against him again. He's a younger guy. He's on the upswing. It's not like Adam Fugitt has had a ton of experience despite being 3 years older.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go with Mike Malott. I don't think he'll get the finish. I think Adam Fugitt is pretty tough. I could see him winning at 29-28 or probably 30-27 decision.
Yeah. The thing that sticks out to me the most here is the fact that Fugitt is a hittable guy. I see this fight kind of being like a car crash.
That's a great point.
Yeah, both guys are going to be coming forward. That's normally what they do. Maybe Fugitt's able to get a couple takedowns, and we see that is Malott's kryptonite. I just don't think that that's the case. I think Malott's a little too well-rounded. He's a few years younger. I think the UFC tried to run the matchup for the Canadian here, like a favorable matchup at home. Kind of give him, that last celebration or whatever.
I mean, there's no reason that he should be this high, but yes.
Anyways, Malott by decision does seem right. I'm going 29-28, but we're splitting hairs, 30-27, 29-28. It is what it is.
Absolutely. Did you want to take the main event first, or do you want me to? Because I don't know how you want to pace it out.
I don't care.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you take this one first, actually. This next one, which is the true main event, but technically the co-main event.
Yeah.
It is, of course, your Syrian brother, Beneil Dariush, versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira. Please give me your thoughts on this.
Two absolute my boys. As you know. Anyways, I really, really hate this. I wish this wasn't happening, but here we are.
That they're fighting each other?
Yeah, I don't like it. There's not much to say. We know every single thing about both of these guys. They've both been in the UFC forever. I believe it's been like 14 years for Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
10 or 12 for Beneil. So we know who they are. What I'd like to do instead of giving a technical breakdown is really quickly talk about that Charles Oliveira run that he had.
Sure.
Obviously had the huge unbeaten streak, and then pandemic Charles was like a real ass thing. He had the empty stadium fight against Kevin Lee, who he dominated and choked out. Then he had the Tony Ferguson one where he messed up his arm, right?
Yeah.
Then it was Poirier. And then it was Gaethje. Or, I'm sorry, it was Chandler. Then it was Poirier.
Yep.
Then it was Gaethje. I was at the Gaethje fight. I'm really happy I got to see like a fight in the Charles run.
Absolutely.
And then obviously last time out, October 280, lost to Islam Makhachev. But that was one of the best runs in MMA history that you'll ever see.
In one of the tougher weight classes.
Absolutely. It is the glamour division, and those finishes that Charles was getting from the pandemic on.
And every fight was wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think part of the reason it was so entertaining was because he looked like he was in trouble a lot of the time early on.
Almost every. I mean, definitely the championship fights were all like that, right?
Yeah.
From the Chandler fight on. Anyways, it absolutely inspiring to see a guy bounce back from being like up and down journeyman kind of fighter, having the health problems he had not only in the UFC but as a child, and just to see that guy flourish is like really inspiring. He's become like a Brazilian legend, probably the most famous Brazilian MMA fighter there is.
Yeah, and I don't know if people know, do Bronx means from the Bronx.
Yeah.
And Bronx is a slang term for like the favelas in Brazil.
Yeah.
So this is a guy who comes from nothing on top of all that,
Yeah, legit. Really inspiring. He's taken on Beneil Dariush, as you mentioned, my Assyrian brother. He has deserved a title shot for a while now. He could have had it. He probably should have had it, honestly. 280 when Oliveira fought Islam. That should have honestly been Oliveira Beneil, but I understand why the UFC did it. Business, money talks, and they got the whole business thing going on. But nobody's really been shafted like Beneil Dariush has been shafted. Gaethje's gotten multiple title shots. Poirier's gotten multiple title shots.
Especially in this division.
Yeah, Oliveira obviously, got the title, and then they stripped it, and then he fought Islam, and Islam got to kind of jump the line. So really, he's been the odd man out from the beginning. Older dude, and it just sucks that he's been shafted. No shot against Islam Makhachev. He's the champion. He's probably the best 155er on the planet. But if you were to kind of play it out how things are supposed to be played out, it just wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
I digress. I wanted to say that piece because I'm a huge fan of both of these guys, Dino. And like I said last week, I'm going to be heartbroken for whoever loses this fight. Because similar to the Poirier-Gaethje fight that's coming up for the BMF, the loser of this fight, it's over. Yeah. There is no title shot anymore. It goes away.
Yeah.
You feel me?
There's a lot of guys in line here, and
You're going to have a non-active champion in Islam Makhachev at this point who's been hinting that he might move up to 170. The poor, Gaethje's going to retire if he doesn't win. He's basically pretty much said that.
Mm-hmm.
Poirier is only going to fight the huge money fights. So it's just like, this is the last chance for either guy. I think if Charles Oliveira loses, hot take, he retires. There is no reason for that.
Way.
There's no reason for him to fight if it's not for the belt. That's the way I see it. I think that's the way he sees it.
That would be so crazy.
From the moment this fight was announced, I've had the image in my head. There is no breakdown necessary here. Pull the Band-Aid off. Beneil Dariush by KO. And UFC, if you don't give
by
Beneil...
KO, in what round?
Round 1. And if the UFC does not give Beneil Dariush the title shot, and they jump him for the winner of Poirier-Gaethje or someone else, shame on you.
There's no way, dude.
Legit shame on you.
There's no way, especially those two guys. That would be an absolute shame, like you said. That would be pathetic, dude.
Yep.
What else is there to say? You said it all, my friend. And I agree with you 100%. And I agree that it's going to be a first-round knockout, too. I think he drops Charles. We've seen Charles, like I said earlier, get tested in every single fight versus people who've got some power, who are championship-quality fighters. And Beneil Dariush is definitely that. He's in that arena, right?
Yeah.
So, and also, he throws heat, man. Beneil Dariush has some legit juice on his hands. So, I think that's a part of his game that is oftentimes overlooked. Even if I could see him getting dropped and getting his chin tested, because let's be honest, Charles Oliveira's chin is a little sus.
Yeah.
He
gets cracked every fight.
He gets cracked, man. And if he goes down like that versus somebody who has legit wrestling too, I just don't see him recovering.
And a jiu-jitsu world champion.
And a jiu-jitsu world champion.
No-gi world champion.
Which
is more practical than a gi world champion when it comes to MMA.
Well, no question. There's no question.
Yeah.
Gi is totally impractical. If you're doing gi training and you're doing MMA fighter, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, on Tapology, the number 2 versus number 3 lightweight on the planet.
Yeah.
So just to give you guys...
And it's not the main event. But, again, I get it. Yeah, what else is there to say? It's going to be a banger, and I really hope that you're wrong, and it's not the end of whoever loses the fight. But
I think only for Charles it would be the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even, if Beneil loses and then,
Beneil will fight.
Has to fight, 3 more fights then to get another shot, that sucks, too. But
it sucks because the dude's, 36?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he?
He's 34. 34 years old. But, bro, Makhachev is not active, man. And, he's just not...
And it's crazy how Dana, some divisions, he'll be like, oh, you're not active, bro? For sure, interim champ.
Interim title.
And, with Dagestani, don't worry about it. It's just all good.
I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I get it. And Makhachev probably... There's rumors that Leon and Makhachev are fighting in October. That Makhachev's going for double champ.
That would be insane.
That would be nuts, because that would mean that in the year of 2023... that the lightweight champion defended his belt, or
against the
fought
featherweight.
Twice. He defended it against the featherweight, and then it went up for double champ status. So I don't know.
That's a terrible matchup for Leon. I could also see Islam getting absolutely slept.
I don't buy it.
I mean, I can see it, but
I think Islam Makhachev defeats Leon Edwards if that's the fight.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he's probably bigger than him, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
definitely stronger.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, in any case, the main event of the evening, let's be real, it's the women's GOAT, Amanda Nunes, versus Irene Aldana, 14-6, 22-5. Look, I mean,
choked on my water.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. yeah, this is, I'm actually shocked that the odds are in a Nunes fight. I guess they learned their lesson with your girl. What's her name?
No, don't do that.
What's her name?
Valentina?
No, bro.
Julie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess they learned their odds because that was like plus 1,000, So we got plus 260 for Irene Aldana. Obviously, if Irene Aldana is going to win this fight, it's going to be through her boxing. She's got really good boxing, nice high guard, keeps it tight, really technical. She's got legit power in her hands, too. And she's not bad on the ground. I just think that Nunes is an absolute tank all around. She's the women's GOAT. How did Pena beat her the first time around? She pressured the shit out of her, which Nunes did not expect. She basically did the Maria Oliveira thing, where she came out swinging, throwing ones and twos and hook, and just came out running at her, swinging, basically. I think she's wizened up now. I think she's giving these contenders a little bit more respect than maybe she was. Maybe she got a little bit too comfortable.
Maybe.
I could see Irene Aldana knocking her out. She's got for real power. Absolutely. She's probably got the most power in her hands in the division. I just don't see that being the most likely case here. I see Amanda Nunes winning. I haven't really thought about how, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably by submission, realistically.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
Cool. I think that the stuff you talked about with Irene Aldana, it's all right. Good boxer, good power. The takedown defense is fine. It's solid. It's
but if Macy Chasson can get you down,
yeah,
and put some, she dealt some damage with some elbows too on her. Then I'm pretty sure that GOAT Amanda Nunes can get you down.
Right. So she did finish Macy Chasson with the up kick to the liver.
Right.
Which is super weird. Look, she's not gonna be the best contender Amanda Nunes has ever faced.
No.
She's not gonna be the worst contender that Amanda Nunes has faced.
She'll be.
She's kind of
because she's got good boxing.
Right. Yeah. She's a threat. And then you have Amanda Nunes, obviously the women's MMA GOAT, as you mentioned. Her only loss in the last 9 years was to Juliana Pena. She avenged that. She beat the shit out of Juliana Pena over the course of 5 rounds. That was crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
So when it comes to this kind of stuff, you know my rule. I don't pick against the GOATs. I'm not picking against John Jones. I don't pick against Amanda Nunes, but I am very, very worried for Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
At some point, the skills start to go away. You 100%. Start to slow down.
They're the same age, though.
I know, but she's a little more like used up than Irene Aldana,
for sure,
for lack of a better term. At some point, it goes away. She's rich. She has a daughter now.
Yep.
Like she has a gym. The first Pena fight, as you mentioned, it seemed like she was almost overlooking Juliana 100%. Pena.
No question.
Are you getting complacent? Are you starting to get comfortable? Because we've seen that a lot of times in
look at
boxing,
Valentina.
Right, Valentina. We've seen it in boxing forever.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it with Conor McGregor potentially, right?
McGregor.
Anyways, when you come from nothing and you have everything you could ever dream of, like it's just that thing. Like you get comfortable, right?
Yep.
Anyways,
naturally, only human.
I am worried for Amanda Nunes. However, I will not pick against her. I'm going Amanda Nunes 49-46. I hope she wins and I hope she retires on top because I would hate to see her fade into like getting her ass beat.
I don't think she'll be.
There's no reason to do that if you're a.
She may lose one and then be done. She could lose this and then I think she's done. But
So you think Nunes by submission?
I think Nunes by.
I think that would be a great thing for the MMA world.
Why?
I just think it would be nice to have Amanda Nunes back on top, finishing people and just like kind of just whooping some ass.
Sure.
And then that just.
I want to see a fight though.
Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I love fights. That's why we do this. This whole thing is because we like fighting.
That's right.
Anyways, guys, that wraps up our UFC 289 breakdown show. This should be a very interesting card.
I'm pumped, man.
As I mentioned, I will be dropping MMA casuals tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So look out for that. And we're actually going to be doing... The next time we do this for a pay-per-view, we're going to be going. So that's pretty
right. Oh, is that the next pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's 290.
Oh,
this is 289.
Oh, yeah.
Our main event streak is currently at 0.
Shout
out Chris Lee.
That was bullshit, by the way. That was such bullshit.
For being the worst judge this side of the world. Really quickly, just to touch on that.
Yeah.
I can understand Amir Albazi winning the fight.
Sure.
If you score 1, 2, and 3 for him.
Sure.
Which I didn't. I didn't score all of those rounds for him.
Yep.
But I can understand 1 and 2 going to him because they were such close rounds.
Yep.
So I get that. But to give him the fight based on a round 4 is absolute
ludicrous.
Shout out Luda. Blueberry Yum Yum. You feel me? Anyways, our boy Impa Kasanganai's fighting on June 8th, my birthday. Good luck to him. Also, next week we get a Dennis Bazookia card.
Let's get it.
So hopefully he
Still doesn't
wins.
follow us though.
Good luck to him. We're gonna get him in the UFC. Shout out Dennis Bazookia. What's up, Doug?
What's up, man? Just follow us.
It was good, man.
Come on.
Damn. MMA casuals will be dropping. Anything else, Dino?
No, that's it, my friend.
Guys,
You covered it all.
Please like and subscribe. Ring the damn bell. Follow us on Instagram. Dennis Bazookia. Follow us on Instagram, dog.
Please, sir.
Right. Let's get it. I'm excited.
Peace.